Well. Nicki Minaj finally smartened up and decided to pay that $500,000 judgment instead of losing a $20 million home. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on Pam Unfiltered. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Pam Unfiltered, the spot where we spill the hottest celeb tea, break down and review all the reality TV chaos, get real about the latest trending news, and of course, so much more. So let's get into it. I guess Nicki Minaj likes to play games down to the wire. And you know what? She realized $500,000 is not worth more than a $20 million home. Today was the day the judge was going to rule on her mansion in LA to be foreclosed because she hasn't paid her mortgage in a while, to satisfy a judgment of $500,000 to a security guard named Thomas Wiedemuller. So let me backtrack a little bit. Back in 2019, Thomas Wiedemuller was assaulted by Kenneth Petty, Nicki Minaj's thug husband, over a dispute. So during a concert, there was a dispute going on, I believe, with Nicki Minaj and a female security guard. Thomas intervened to defuse the situation. Nicki did not like it and had Thomas attacked by her husband, Kenneth Petty. Thomas decided to sue them both. When it came time to the trial, Nicki and her husband thought they were too good for it and decided not to show up, and the judge ruled in the plaintiff's favor. So now she owed the $500,000 to Thomas and decided she didn't want to pay that. Well, on top of her not paying the $500,000, she was not paying her mortgage to her $20 million home. So Thomas and his lawyer asked the LA court system, well, since she's not paying this $20 million house, can this be foreclosed on so we can get our $500,000? So you guys, this has been going on for about a little bit over a year. She has not answered anything. So again, today, the judge was going to rule on her house to be foreclosed. But guess what? Nicki decided to go to court and pay the $500,000. Let me read what TMZ had to say. Okay, so this is what TMZ had to say. Nicki Minaj will not have to sell her home in order to pay off a bodyguard who her husband, Kenneth Petty, allegedly attacked. Now, they're saying allegedly attacked because there were no criminal charges. Okay, so I guess on my end, he allegedly attacked Thomas. And it says, because the bodyguard's lawyer says the judgment has been satisfied. And this is what Thomas looks like. And says, the rapper's team is in court Thursday, which is today, and we thought they had plans to argue that a judge shouldn't make her sell her Hidden Hills mansion to repay a $500,000 judgment awarded to Thomas Wiedemuller. Well, you're not paying the mortgage on the house, which I'm surprised they just didn't foreclose on it from then. I don't know the laws as far as, homes and not paying a mortgage in California, but she hasn't paid it for a while. Okay. And then it goes here. It says, however, we talked to Wiedemuller's attorney, Paul Sasso, before the hearing started, and he told us they planned to tell the judge Nicki had actually satisfied the judgment. So let's take a look at this video. I believe this is Paul Sasso. I'm not too sure.
I know. What's the goal that you're trying to accomplish today?
We'll be telling the court today that Nicki Minaj has satisfied the judgment.
Of course. Okay. Do you feel like it's wrong that,
We'll see you later.
Anything else you could tell us?
We can talk later.
Thank you.
So that was Paul Sasso. And then it goes on to say, the hearing is already over and it's unclear whether Minaj handed over the whole amount or some percentage of it via a settlement agreement. That's giving, if she actually did it that way, that's giving I'm broke. I'm just saying. Sasso apologized to the court saying he had just found out about the settlement at the last minute because she paid it last minute. ICYMI A judge awarded Wiedemeyer $503,000, 318.02 in a default judgment after Nicki and Petty did not respond to a lawsuit he filed against them, alleging Petty assaulting him backstage of one of Nicki's 2019 shows. It says Nicki has claimed she wasn't informed of the lawsuit by a former business manager, but she was still on the hook for the dough. I call bull. Bull. You thought you was better than the system. You thought you were rich. You know, there was no criminal charges presented. There was probably no cameras back there, okay, of this alleged attack, and you thought you would get away with it. It says it's a good thing Nicki paid the judgment, by the way, the day they were supposed to rule against her home, because the judge admitted the tentative ruling would have required Nicki to sell the house. I don't know how to say this word. Calamitations. I don't know how to say that. Y'all don't kill me, okay? I don't know all the words. We caught up with Sasso again after the hearing ended, and he reiterated he just came to an agreement with Minaj's team last night, before joking he wouldn't have had everyone show up today if the deal wasn't struck at the 11th hour. See, this gives to me, again, there was probably some people on her team like, why would you lose a $20 million house over $500,000? Probably told her about the payment plan. It says, give him this little bit of money. You know, fix up your house if it needs to be fixed. Sell it. You'll get $20 million, okay, from the house, and you could pay the rest of his money, and you'll leave with $19.5 million. Again, I don't know why, but this is coming off. Maybe something is happening with her financially. That's why she didn't answer the lawsuit. Now, what happened to her money? I don't know. Was it all tied up in a lot of the legal stuff that her husband's been going through? I don't know. But it says he also took to Nicki Minaj to task for her controversial political beliefs. Watch the clip all the way to the end to hear what he has to say. So we'll listen to that clip in a minute. And it says, anywho, Nicki can finally put all this legal drama behind her because her everything's great in her Barbie world again. Okay, I don't understand that statement. And that's pretty much what he has to say. So let's listen to what Sasso had to say after the court.
Can you tell us what happened in court in there?
So today we informed the court that Nicki Minaj has satisfied the judgment, and so therefore there was no need to proceed further with our motion for an order authorizing the sale of her house in order to satisfy that judgment.
What does your client think of this?
He's incredibly gratified and happy. It's been a long time coming to have justice finally done here. But he's very happy for himself. He suffered a very heinous attack years ago. And not only did it take years to achieve the judgment, but then took nearly 2 years in order to enforce that judgment. And we never thought it would have to go quite this far in order to actually go and put a levy on a millionaire's house. And go to the last 24 hours before she decides to satisfy the judgment.
Have you talked to Nicki Minaj? Do you think she feels remorseful about what happened?
I can't speak for her. I have not spoken to her directly, and have only spoken to her counsel.
You said last 24 hours, like literally within, like yesterday you guys get this notice despite the judgment that's in it.
I have spoken to her counsel over the last several months. But it was just yesterday that an agreement came together that she would satisfy the judgment.
Anything you want to say to Nicki Minaj or anything like that? Any message to her?
She has been very vocal online recently and demeaning various types of people. And she's certainly been very vocal about her thoughts on the gay and trans community. I'm happy that this case has, helped her transition from a person who avoids responsibility to someone who is being forced to take responsibility. And my hope is that it helps her transition from a person of violence to a person of peace.
So that's what he had to say. And honestly, her political views has nothing to do with this judgment. This was a lack of accountability, and this was her thinking that her and her husband was better than the program. For her to say that she knew nothing about the lawsuit is a crock of bull. You guys, this alleged assault happened in 2019, which was 7 years ago. Okay? The judge ruled on this lawsuit 2 years ago. So from that time, 2019 to 2023, 2024, you're telling me you didn't receive any letters, you didn't receive anything about this lawsuit, regardless of you switching management or whoever you switched? That's bull. You decided that you were not going to pay it because you didn't think there was anything wrong with what you and your husband allegedly did. And you thought you would get away with it because it was a measly $500,000. But see, they got you. You weren't paying your mortgage for whatever the reasons why you weren't paying it. Again, maybe she's having some financial issues. Who knows? I already said this before. I don't think she lives in LA anymore. I honestly think she moved back to New York. Maybe she lives in Jersey. Maybe she lives in Long Island. Maybe she lives in Westchester. I don't know. But I wholeheartedly believe she does not live in LA anymore. And maybe she thought, you know what? I'm not going to pay that. Again, I don't know what the laws are in California as far as not paying your mortgage and your house being foreclosed. I don't know what the time span is, but she definitely hit that. She definitely hit that threshold because it was going to be ruled again. It was going to be ruled today for it to be foreclosed. I don't know what's going on, Nicki. I have to be honest with you. I quite frankly don't care. This is a 43-year-old woman who is acting like she's 20 years old, irresponsible, don't have any experience in life. I don't know if it's because she's upset with the world and how her life is right now. I don't know what it is, but she really needs to figure out what's going on with her. Even if she continues to stay with her thug husband, okay? I don't know if she maybe needs to live a quieter life, pay all your dues, do whatever you got to do, and just keep quiet. I'm happy that Thomas was able to get his money, if he got the full check or he got the payment plan. We don't know, but TMZ throwing it in there gives me a clue that maybe that's the route that she went. I don't know. Again, hopefully she pays off the $500,000. If you got to sell your $20 million house, girl, go ahead and do it. Just do it. But again, I'm happy for him. No one deserves to be assaulted for diffusing a situation. And yeah, that's it. What are you guys' thoughts on this lawsuit? Did you really think that she was going to pay off the $500,000? Did you really think she was going to let it just let it be? Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one.